Good morning, everyone. It's about 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to give it just a couple of minutes to see if anyone else joins us this morning, and we'll get started. Hope everybody's having a lovely Wednesday morning. Okay, maybe just another minute, and then we'll get started. I just want to see if anyone else is going to trickle in and join us. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today's class, or today's webinar, is called Inventory Masterclass. So it's really going to cover some of the advanced features of shortcuts that we've introduced. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping. Today, the webinar is going to be approximately 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll have a few minutes after for Q&A if you have any questions, or if you'd like to just chat about any of the items that we've talked about today. My microphone is on. Everyone else has been automatically muted. So you won't use the microphone today to speak in the webinar. What you do if you have any questions is you'll use the chat box. Okay, so there is a chat box through GoToWebinar. So if you do have any questions, you can use the chat box. If you're having any issues, you can use the chat box there. You guys, your speakers must be on to hear the webinar. So hopefully, if you are not hearing me now, you've figured out that the webinar has started, and you're going to go ahead and turn up the volume or turn on those speakers. Also, if you have any further questions that you don't get a chance to ask through the chat box today, please keep in mind that you can post these to the Shortcuts Facebook page as well. And you can see that I've listed the address below. So facebook.com/shortcutsusa. Okay, so I hope everyone can hear okay and everything. Remember, again, use that chat box if anything. All right, so new features and changes overview. So you guys, basically the webinar today is for you, again, to get an understanding about some of the advanced features in the inventory tools that we have introduced in the newer versions of Shortcuts. Some of you may have already upgraded to one of these versions, and so you may already be seeing some of these changes, so hopefully this is going to make some things a little clearer for you. And for those of you that haven't upgraded to the 7.4.12 line or higher, these changes you'll see happen once you do upgrade. So we just want to make sure that for anybody, again, that has upgraded, you just have a little bit of insight on what's going on with these tools. So the learning outcomes today. So the items that we're going to be focusing on is to understand the changes to the product screen. So with these new tools that we've introduced, there's going to be some changes to the product screen. We've also introduced a brand new tool called the Statistics Calculator, or the Statistics Calculation tool. So we're going to talk about how that works. We're also going to learn about the new functionality in the ordering screen. So there's a couple of new features in ordering that we'll talk about as well. And then learn the new features available when performing an inventory count. So there's a couple of new items introduced when doing a count also. All right, so changes to the product screen. So just a couple of things that I want to touch on the changes to the product screen are listed here. So minimum and maximum fields now appear, okay? Your required field no longer exists once you upgrade to 7.4.12 and higher. Okay, so minimum and maximum fields, your required fields, so whatever you had in your required levels has now become your maximum and minimum levels. Okay, you can go back in and adjust these and make changes to them. However, when you upgrade, the required turns into maximum and minimum. Okay, and then also the statistics calculation updates the maximum, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. The minimum field is static. The maximum field is only updated if you run the statistics calculator. Okay? And like I said, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right, so changes to the product screen and shortcuts. So I actually want to show you just a live demonstration of some of these changes that I'd like you to take note of. So I'm going to take you into shortcuts here. All right, and then I'm going to take you into the inventory menu so we can go and take a look at that product screen. All right, so you'll notice across the top in the heading bar that just like I stated a few minutes ago, the required level is no longer present. Okay, so the required level, if you did have your required levels populated in shortcuts, those levels are now going to become these maximum and minimum levels. Okay, so you'll see maximum and minimum. You guys, you can click in these fields and fill them in, change them, update them whenever you'd like. However, you know, I would recommend keeping them, you know, static based upon, you know, setting them and making them static based upon how you think that you've been performing. Okay, so with the maximum level, this can update based upon the statistics calculator. Okay, so you can decide whether or not you're going to order off of a minimum or a maximum level. Okay, so you set the minimum level and then you set the maximum level. Okay, so if you state that you're going to order once your products fall below the minimum level, when you go to do an order, for instance, against my Davines company here, if I have my database set to order when my products go below the minimum, if I look at this current level right now for this first product, it would not order this product. Okay, so if I currently have 2 and my minimum level is 2, it would not order this product for me. Okay, so the tool works similar to how the required field works. It's just going to be a little more advanced, where the statistics calculator is actually going to take a look at your product performance, and it's going to update this maximum level based upon how that product has performed over the time period that you specified. And like I said, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Okay, so again, just to review, we have new minimum and maximum levels in the product screen and no more required level. Okay, so your required level becomes your maximum and minimum levels, and then you can go and reset those if you need to. Okay, and also keep in mind that this maximum level can update based upon the statistics calculation tool being run. Okay, just want to see if there's any questions about what we've talked about so far. like everyone's okay. So the next thing we actually want to discuss is the statistics calculation. So you guys, there are some new inventory configuration items that I want to take a look at, as well as viewing the actual statistics calculator with you. So these new inventory configuration items, the first one that we're going to cover, and again, just some dot points here so we can focus on what it is we're going to talk about when I actually show you in shortcuts. So days to analyze for statistics. So you can actually specify for the statistics calculator how many days you would like it to look at when it's analyzing the product performance. Site lead time in days. So you only need to set this if it takes a little bit of time to process the order. So not necessarily meaning it takes 5 days from when you submit the order for it to come to you, but if it takes time for you to get the order to the representative and then it takes a little time for them to process it. So maybe it's an entire day until it actually gets to the supplier. Okay, so that's the site lead time. Default days to cover, so this is going to be based upon how often you actually place an order. So if you place an order once a week, your default days to cover is going to be 7. If you place an order every other week, then you probably want those default days to cover to be 14. So it's going to cover those entire 2 weeks. Okay, statistics refresh reminder, and this will be in days as well. And this is just asking you, how often would you like to be reminded to run the statistics calculator? And remember, the statistics calculator is what will update that maximum level based upon the product performance. Okay, so, and reorder when stock falls below. So again, I stated you can specify whether or not you want to reorder when stock falls below minimum or when stock falls below maximum. Okay, and then we'll also talk about the statistics calculator itself. We'll go in there and I'll show, we'll take a look at it and we'll actually run the tool. Okay, in there, the period to analyze, it will show us in there, and then also we'll talk about seasonal uplift and how you can actually specify that you need a certain uplift for a busier time of year. Okay, so how does the statistics calculation work? I'm just going to take you in and we're going to take a look at those inventory settings, the new inventory settings, as well as the calculator itself. Okay. So I'm going to go into Setup and into my configuration. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here on the left-hand side to my General menu. Oops, sorry guys, I had a little bit of a phone ringing here. Give me just a moment. All right, so in this general menu, I'm going to go ahead and go into the inventory section here. Okay, so there's like I said, there's some new configuration settings that we want to take a look at here. So you can see there's this whole section on ordering, and here we have that first one, days to analyze for statistics. So we set it to 90 days because that's a good sample period. You can decide that you'd like this to be more or less, but by default we're setting it to 90 days because 3 months is a good time to evaluate a product. Site lead time in days, I have mine set to 0 because as soon as I place the order, it gets processed and then it starts the process of it getting to me. Default days to cover. So I actually place an order every week, so my default days to cover are going to be 7. Statistics refresh reminder. Okay, so every 90 days, I'm asking for it to remind me that I should go in and run the statistics calculator. Because remember, again, that can update that maximum level. so that you're not ordering too much and you're not stocking too many products in your salon. So reorder when stock falls below. So again, you can specify, do I reorder when my stock falls below my minimum up to my maximum, or do I reorder when I fall below my maximum level? So if you tend to sell a lot of retail, I would say that you should reorder when you fall below your maximum. If you tend to not sell as much retail, then I would suggest ordering off of the minimum level. Okay, so there's the new configuration when we're talking about inventory. And now I'm actually going to take you in and we're going to take a look at the statistics calculator itself. Okay, so again, that's going to be in the inventory menu. Okay, and it's this new icon that you're going to see underneath Unbundle at the bottom of the menu, the statistics calculation. So I'm going to go in there. So does anybody have any questions about the configuration items that we just took a look at before I actually talk about and run the calculation? Looks like everyone's all right. Okay. So before I run the calculator, I just want to take a look at the products again. I want us to take a look at this Essentials Hair Care section, and I want us to take a look at these maximum and minimum levels. Now I've just taken a sample database, and this does have live data in it, so we should see some changes in these maximum levels. So just take a look at what they look like now, and then after we run the calculation, we should see some changes here. All right, so start date and end date. So remember, I asked it to evaluate a 90-day period. So right here, this is going 90 days back from today, and it's taking the period between June 6th and September 4th, and it's going to analyze that time for me. So you guys, seasonal uplift, so I can actually specify that I want there to be an uplift in this calculation that I'm going to run here. So if it happens to be that you tend to sell much more retail during the holiday seasons, which we're coming up on here shortly, you can actually put in a percentage of uplift, so 10% or 20% uplift on your retail. So it will add those numbers into your maximum so that we can take into consideration that we need to order those. Okay, and then the reminder date. So remember it asked how often would I like to be reminded to run the calculator. So the reminder date is right here based upon what I've set in the configuration. However, I can click on this and I can actually physically set a different date if I'd like. So if I want to be reminded again to run it maybe at the end of October, because that's when I want to do the uplift for the holidays, maybe I'm just going to choose like the Monday at the end of October, and it will remind me again then. When it will remind me to run the calculator is when I go to place an order. So when I go to place an order, if I haven't run the calculator and it's been past the time that I've said that I want to run it, it will warn me. Looks like there's a question, so give me just a second. Okay. So it just says I have a question. So if you do have a question, you can use the chat box. You don't have to use the question section. You can actually use the chat box and you can chat the question to me there. Okay, so I'm just going to hold on a moment, you guys, and see if I can see what this question is before we move on and run the calculator. Okay, so the question is, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it out here. The question is actually based upon the configuration section. So it says, when I place an order, I do for multiple distributors at different times during the week. Because of this, will I still be able to use that feature? The answer is absolutely, because when you place an order in Shortcuts, and we'll look at that in a few minutes, you actually place an order against the distributor or the supplier who you get these products from. So if it's once a week but different times throughout the week, that's fine. Your default days to cover are still going to be 7, even though you're placing them at different times during the week. So you'll absolutely still be able to use this tool. All right. So back to the statistics calculation here. So again, the date that it's going to analyze is listed for me here. And if I want an uplift, I can actually add that in. And then I've gone ahead and I've set a new reminder date for the end of October, even though I've said I actually only want to be warned every 90 days, because I actually want to run it and I want to put a larger uplift for this holiday season. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose compute. Again, you can see that right now it says last calculation. There has never been a calculation run on this database. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose compute, and I'm going to run the calculator now. Okay, so you can see it says that the calculation is in process. Please wait until it's complete and then press the done button to return to the statistics screen. All right, so now it tells me that this is the calculation period, this is the uplift, and this was the calculation date. So now it actually shows me those results. And let's go back into that product screen and see if we see any different numbers. Okay, so you can see that this maximum level has actually gone down for every single product that we ran. And it probably means that Davines is not their #1 retailing line, that they sell very little of this based upon other items that they carry. Take a look at some of the other ones. Same thing here. So it looks like they sell probably not much retail. So a lot of these maximum levels have gone down here. All right, I'm just going to take a look at the questions again and see if anyone has any questions there. All right, looks like everyone's doing okay. All right, so the improvements to the ordering screen. So again, some dot points on the items that we want to focus on. So there's new ordering types in the ordering screen. So before it was just one kind of order. Now you can actually specify whether or not it's a retail order, it's a professional order, or maybe it's actually a promotional order. All right. Also, you can discount orders by a line item or for an entire order discount. And also you can modify a received order once you've actually received it in. So if you've realized that you've made a boo-boo or a mistake, you can actually go back and change that now. There is security settings around, of course, who can modify these items. Okay, so improvements to ordering in Shortcuts. So again, I'm just going to take you into Shortcuts and show you the ordering screen, and we'll talk about the new features. Okay, so again, in the inventory menu, I'm going to go ahead and choose ordering. Okay, so up here at the top, my suppliers, I'm going to go ahead and choose the drop-down. Okay, and so here is where you can actually choose who you're ordering from. Okay, so this is where I can specify that I'm doing the Davines order today, I'm doing the Pureology order on Wednesday, and I'm doing the miscellaneous items on Thursday. Okay, So once I choose my supplier, I can go ahead and select New. Okay, up at the top, it's asking for my order type. Okay, so this is one of the new improvements to the ordering screen is the order type. So standard, so that's really the only option we had before was a standard order all. Now we can choose retail or professional, meaning I'm just ordering retail or I'm just ordering professional, or this is a promotional order. So maybe you don't want to make it part of your regular order for the week. You want to actually have a separate invoice for that promotional order. You can do that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go to all. Okay, so you can see that I have an order that's populated here. So again, you guys, this is based upon that maximum level that my calculator set, okay, and my current level. Okay, so if I actually want to see those items, I can add them here. All right. So here's my maximum level. Here's my current level. I currently have 0. My maximum is 1. I should order 1. All right, so another thing that I can show here is, like I said, we can actually show a line item discount. Okay, so sometimes you might actually get a discount from your suppliers. Maybe there's a special on a certain product. If you buy a certain amount, you get 20% off, or you get a certain dollar amount off. Or maybe from some of your suppliers, once you place your order, you actually get a total percentage off the entire order. So here, I'm going to say that I'm ordering 5 of these, and 4 of these, and 3, and so on. Just going to change these numbers a bit. Okay, so here, if I click on the line item to actually do a discount, okay, this screen pops up right here, and you can see that I can put in a percentage or I can put in a fixed amount. So I'm going to say that I can get 10% off this product. And you can see that it goes ahead and applies that discount. Okay, so you can now do a line item discount, a dollar amount off, or a percentage off. Or, like I said, down here at the bottom, you can actually put a full order discount. So maybe it's 15% off the entire order. And you can see that it applies that there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place this order so I can then receive it in. Okay, because the next thing we want to talk about is how we can actually modify a received order. I'm not going to click that today. All right, so I've placed my order, and you can see it up here at the top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and receive this order in. Okay, so based upon my invoice, I'm going to go ahead and update my quantities here. Okay, they only sent me 2 of those. And they only sent me 1 of these. Okay, so based upon my invoice and based upon what I've gotten in my box, I've now updated the quantity so I can receive this in. Oops, I didn't enter an invoice number. Yes, I want to enter one. So the last thing that I want to show you about the improvements to ordering is actually that I can modify a received order. So maybe I go back and I actually missed a number, or I missed one of the pages where there was actually a few more products on it. So under my received orders, if I click on that, I can actually choose modify down at the bottom, and I would then be able to update the quantities. Okay, so there was a second page that told me I got 2 more of these. And also 2 more of these. Okay, and then I can save that. Are you sure you wish to modify this order? On-hand stock quantity and average cost will be updated for any products edited in this if you proceed. So the answer is yes, because by modifying the order, what we'd like to do is get it to update the on-hand quantities. And then done. Okay, any questions about the new features and enhancements to the ordering screen there? Just going to wait just a moment to see if anybody wants to chat any questions through. Looks like everyone's okay. So new features in the inventory count section. So there is now an adjustment value column, which will actually tell you if there is a value variance. Okay, there's also a new preview button that will preview the inventory control report for you. So instead of printing it, you can actually preview it directly from that screen. So again, based upon the adjustment value column, it will actually show the dollar amount of value variance. And then the inventory count / adjustment reasons, we'll take a look at those. So inventory adjustment and variance reasons, excuse me. We'll take a look at where you can set those up. All right, so additional features when counting inventory. So again, I'm just going to take you into shortcuts, and we're going to take a look at the Take Inventory section. Okay, so again, in my inventory menu, I'm going to go ahead and choose Take Inventory. All right, so I'm actually going to create a new inventory count here. Okay, and maybe Mary's doing this one as well. Okay, so for my inventory count, I'm going to go ahead and choose Next. Okay, and I'm actually going to now go ahead and add the products that I'd like to count. Okay, so over on the right, and I've said this is a Davines count. Okay, so here's all my products that I wish to count, and you can see that third column over is that adjustment value column. Okay, so I actually need to go ahead and start this count. Okay, so are you sure you want to activate the inventory count? Yes. I'm not going to print any of these forms, but usually you guys, we do recommend that you print at least the top one so that you can take that form around to actually physically count the inventory. Okay, so when I go through and actually put my physical count in, looks like we don't have prices for our gold color conditioners here. Let's take a look down here. There we go. See how that adjustment value is populating for us? So if the number happens to be different from the number that the computer count is stating, based upon that buy price, it's going to let me know what my adjustment value is for this count and for that individual line item. Okay, so that's those variance values. So the adjustment value column shows us the variance values. Okay, so you can see, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill these in really quickly now. If my number happens to be different than the computer count, it will actually populate for me in the adjustment value column the variance values in dollars. I'm just going to finish this really quickly, guys. Okay, so another one of the updated features in the inventory count screen, again, is the preview so that you can preview the inventory control report. And so if I click on that, it actually pulls the stock take or inventory control report right up for me. And you can see that it shows me my reported count, my actual count, the variance, the percentage. So exactly what that report would show you if you went ahead and printed it out at the end of your count, or if you went and viewed it in the Tools and Reports section. And then I can go ahead and just finish my count. Okay, so that's just asking me if I want to do a recount. We're not going to do that now. I probably shouldn't have asked that to print. We just have Paul Tate busted in the door saying hi to me this morning. All right, you guys. Any questions about the updates to the Take Inventory screen? Okay, again, you can use the chat or the question section to ask me any questions. All right, looks like everyone's okay at the moment. So you guys, a summary on what we covered today. You should now have an understanding of the changes to the product screen. So just to review, no more required level. Okay, now you have maximum and minimum levels. And the maximum level is the one that gets updated based upon the statistics calculator. So you should also now have understanding of the functionality of the statistics calculation tool, how to set all of your settings, what they mean, and also how to run the tool. New improvements to the ordering screen. So we took a look at the new ordering types, how it can actually now do a line item discount or an order discount in shortcuts, as well as being able to modify an order even after I receive it in if I've made a mistake. Okay, and also the additional features to the Take Inventory screen. So the adjustment value column, the variance values, and also that preview button that actually lets us see the stock take report or the inventory control report without actually having to go and print it. Okay. Now I did tell you guys that we would talk about the stock take or the inventory count reasons. So you actually have a section in Shortcuts where you can actually now configure reasons. So maybe you want reasons on why you're doing a count, or maybe you want reasons on why the count has a variance. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take you back into Shortcuts for a moment. Okay, and I'm going to go into Setup and Configuration. Okay, and over here in General, down at the bottom, I have this new Reasons section. Okay, so the first tab is Stock Take. Okay, so I might just have reasons that are for why I'm doing the stock take. Or maybe I have reasons to why I'm doing a count or why there might be variance. I have to spell it right down. So you guys, if you have these reasons set up, if you have variance in your count, it will actually ask you to apply a reason. Okay, so you have the options to do that as well. Okay, so just to touch back on the summary, any questions about what we covered today? The product screen, the statistics calculator, the ordering screen, or the inventory count section? Okay, so there is a question. With the new upgrade, can you now receive credit or exchange invoices? So I'm assuming you mean, can I show a credit in Shortcuts? And the answer is no. And the reason is because, Shortcuts isn't an accounting system where it would actually, keep track of your monies. So basically, if you have a credit or, something like that, that's something that's handled through your rep. However, when you talk about an exchange, it's possible that we could come up with a way to have that happen. So if you'd like to email me separately and we can talk about that. Because it's possible that by using the modify, we could at least show that you don't have those products. Okay? So again, if you'd like, you can email me separately offline for that. Okay, and then there's another question. Is there a difference between manually entering your stock take through inventory, the product screen, and doing an inventory take or account? And the answer is absolutely. If you enter your inventory numbers through the product screen and you're just overwriting the current numbers that are there, it could never actually keep a true inventory count for you. It would never actually know if you had shrinkage or anything like that because you're just overwriting the number and you're not actually using the tool to specify if there's a variance. So when you first start using Shortcuts, you would definitely enter your current levels through the product screen. Going forward, you should never, ever update your levels through the product screen, so that current level should only ever be updated through doing an order and receiving it in, or by doing an inventory count and updating your levels that way. Okay. So really that's where we're at, you guys, is we're at the Q&A. So if there are more questions, I'm happy to take a look at your questions and answer them, and hopefully, and again, you guys, if you need clarity, remember that you can email me offline about some of these as well. We'll wait a few more minutes to see if there's any more questions. You guys, for joining the webinar and taking the time to spend with me today, we're having a special offer. So if you would like to purchase the inventory training, so that's inventory web training, if you would like to have the entire inventory training, we're offering it at $80 off right now. And you can just speak to your account representative about purchasing that training if you're interested. And so there's the phone number that you would just call and ask to speak to your rep. And you guys, that's just special for you, for the people that are have joined the webinar today. And so we're going to try going forward, if you do join us for our webinars, and we're going to try and have an offer for you guys as well. So not just free training and great information, but also some nice incentives as well. So you guys, future webinars, don't miss our next one. It's on setting up promotions in Shortcuts. So we'll go through a few examples of the promotions feature. It's going to be Monday, September 16th, again at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And that day it's going to be delivered by Meg. You can register for it on the itsuitsyou.shortcuts.net and just go to the events section and you can register for any of the webinars that we offer there. Okay, so you guys will hold on for a couple more minutes to see if there's any more questions. And just remember again that if you have questions offline, you can email me at angel@shortcuts.net, or you can also go to the Facebook Shortcuts USA page and you can post questions to the Facebook page as well. And there's always somebody taking a look at that and they'll always get back to me. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and I hope you have some new great information about the new inventory tools that we have. Like I said, they are some advanced features, so if you are interested in the entire inventory class, please contact your rep so that we can go through not just what we talked about today, but the entire inventory process. Thank you guys so much, and we hope to see you on the 16th.